Have you ever wanted to make your Terraria water look like this, or ever wanted to give the desert a magical golden glow, or to make soaring the skies of your world that much more cinematic? Well, you've come to the right place, because I'm going to be sharing with you all the mods I use to give Terraria an extra magical touch. Disclaimer, a lot of these mods can be performance intensive and will run accordingly to how powerful your hardware is, so download at your own disclosure. With that out of the way, let's begin. So here we are in the test world. I'm going to be showcasing every single shader mod that I have installed that makes the game look the way it does. Starting off with the first mod called Improved Movement Visuals. This mod basically adds like a leaning effect to the character depending on which way you move. So if I demonstrate over here, when the character flies to the right, it leans to the right, and when it flies to the left, he leans to the left. And depending on if you have the setting enabled, you can make the character face whatever direction that you want him to. And if you want to make it look like your character is talking when you're doing voiceovers and such, which is what I do a lot, so then when you're talking, you can just move the cursor up and down, and it makes the character look like he's speaking. This mod basically just adds a lot more life to the character, and I've not been able to play a playthrough without this mod. It just looks super nice when the character is moving from, if I just take off the Omega Core real quick. So, you know, just moving simply left to right, it makes the character feel a lot more energetic because he's leaning in the direction that he's going, so it makes him look like he's running a lot faster than he usually is. And also when you're flying, it just looks a lot like more realistic, and I really like that. The next mod that we have up in line is Lights and Shadow. As you can see here, very simple config menu. You can adjust lighting intensity, the moonlight intensity, and shadow intensity, daylight color, which basically just makes the daylight color either yellow, which is the classic, and then the alternate option is making the daylight white, which, you know, you can change it depending on your preference. And obviously, if you don't want bloom, you can turn that off. It's very subtle, but, you know, you can turn it off if you don't really like bloom. So yeah, this is a very simple mod. I would recommend this one if you are trying the shader mods out for the first time and you don't want to accidentally blow up your PC with overloaded mods. The other one is called Fancy Lighting. This one is a lot more advanced. I have never, in my year and a half of using this mod, I've never touched any of these settings. I've always kind of just left it as it is. And then the quality settings, this is a lot more simple because, you know, it's just toggle options. You can turn these things on and off. You can go through these config settings. I'm not going to go through all of them, obviously, because, you know, it would take a long time. But, you know, go through these config options, see what you want to have on and off. But, you know, if you don't want to go through all this stuff, there's always the things that, you know, games have where you can select the graphic presets. Mine's right now is currently low. I can make it a lot higher if I want to. Oh, that just straight up deleted the background. Okay, you know what? We're not gonna mess with that. I'm literally just gonna leave it as it is. The next mod that we have is called the Enchanted Glint effect. This is a very cosmetic mod for the very high-end weapons. I'm pretty sure it has it on the hammer. No, it doesn't. Okay. Oh, please come back. Basically, just adds a little glinted effect for I think for reforged items. I'm gonna summon the Goblin Tinkerer here and see if I can get a reforge off of him. I'm trying to get a. Oh, there we go. So you can see here with the Godly Reforge, it has a very nice Minecraft-esque Enchanted effect onto it. But, you know, for anyone else who's into this kind of stuff, who want their weapons to have a little bit more of a shine to them, you can always get this mod. Unfortunately, you can't tweak the settings of this mod because, you know, it has, because you can see here, there's no config options. So you can see the very nice glinted effect that it has on the Zenith. It just makes it look a lot more majestic and enchanted if you're into the cosmetic stuff. Oh, what the fuck? And finally, the best mod, or my favorite mod in this bunch, is Luminous Water Reflection mod. This mod basically just adds a bunch of reflections to water. You've seen it at the beginning of the video already, but if I were to make it daytime, you can see here it adds a very nice effect to the water. And obviously it does come with config options. You can tweak a bunch of the stuff here, like reflection intensity, reflection scale ratio, which basically I think it's just how far it is from the initial object. I just like to keep it close to the thing. And then also the distance is how far the reflection goes into the water. I like to have it at max because I like to see the maximum distance of the reflection. And then you can also tweak these settings over here for lava and honey, which basically just changes how reflection looks in those liquids, because they're obviously a lot thicker than water, so they're not going to have the same ripple effects. So if we go down to the underworld, if I just get the underworld teleportation potion, so you can see here the lava, it does look a little goofy, so you could obviously tweak it as you wish. I'm probably gonna disable it because obviously it doesn't look like that. Yeah, so you can turn it all the way off. I'm gonna have it very subtle because I don't want it. It does look a little goofy, I'm not gonna lie, but, you know, obviously it's down to your preference. If you want to have it look like this, then that's up to you. And then you can also tweak the saturation and the brightness of the water. So if we go back to the beach, also you're gonna see a lot of these weird side blocks, like half water blocks when you have this mod enabled. It just does that. I don't know how to fix this issue, but that's just something you're gonna have to deal with. So if you come back here into the same settings, you can tweak the saturation. Obviously you can make this really blue like this, and then obviously the brightness, this looks insanely bright. I'm not gonna have it at that. And then the final mod we have here is called the Shape of Light. This is a mod that is required for this one to work. So when you install this mod, this one's going to be automatically installed with it. This basically is just another config setting for a bunch of settings. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of them because it is insanely long. So yeah, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed. Like the video and subscribe for more Terraria content. It is going to be my primary driver on this channel. The Calamity 100-day playthrough is cooking up at the moment, so be ready for that, I guess. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.